time when Micah returns to Jerry World. Packers defense has been excellent. Cowboys defense been terrible. Here's the quote panel. Check this out. It's long. It's from The Athletic. Dallas's defensive issues aren't as simple as one player or even one area on the roster, okay? The defensive line isn't getting much pressure and the Cowboys aren't blitzing. On the back end, there's been continued communication issues and overall poor execution, leading to receivers often being far too open, you mentioned that, Brew, for the NFL level. Changes are needed and they have to happen quickly. Do you think all of these issues guarantees that Jordan Love has a huge game?
Those issues plus that he's a very good quarterback.
He's your preseason MVP.
He was my preseason MVP. It's not looking great. He's still got a shot, but it's early. Yeah,
early.
But he's but yeah, look, I think Jordan's going to go in there and have a big game. He hasn't thrown for 300. I know you did this with Rodgers, but he hasn't thrown for 300 yards since week 4 of last season.
Interesting.
So he now, of course, the last time he played the Cowboys, he was huge in that playoff game, threw almost 303 touchdowns. But yeah, the Cowboys have become like a QB stimulus package. You know, I mean, everybody's pick me up. That's what they are. I mean, Caleb struck. Is he improving? Is he not? 4 touchdowns, 142 passer rating. You know, Russell Wilson, who.
That's the worst one.
Yeah, I mean, we actually thought Russ might be back. Like, Russ looked great. 450 yards almost. So, yeah, I think Jordan is going to go in there. I think especially coming off
a bunch of yards against them. They played 3 games.
Oh my
It was
God.
a
I forgot. No, I forgot.
It was a warm-up.
I'm sorry. It was
he ran well.
Week
though.
1,
Week 1.
Thursday.
But you are right. They didn't.
Yeah,
it was
it's
the play call.
only one. Yeah.
But I think Jordan too, coming off the interception against Cleveland, is going to want to make amends. So yeah, I'm guaranteeing he's going to have a big game.
Yeah, I think J-Lo is going to – no, I don't do the J-Lo thing. Don't do that.
It's caught on. It's legit
I
now.
know. It's gotten catchy.
You know what he is too? He's going to be Jay Go.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday,
Jordan-
Jay Go.
Jay Go.
Jordan Love definitely is going to have a bounce-back game, and I would guarantee it. I'm not Brew, but I would guarantee a big game. Anytime you have a team that is struggling, you read the quote panel, everywhere on defense, they have too many holes to fill those voids. And so when you look at an offense who's coming off a subpar game against a really great defense, and then you play a really poor defense that literally just doesn't have the personnel to stop you, you're going to try to exploit every area of that defense. And I believe that they will get their running game going, which then will allow Jordan Love to be established as a passer. Guys are going to be running open in this game. Jordan's going to have a big game. And guess who we'll see? Micah, pin his ears back.
So,
Yes.
listen,
Can't wait.
I'm willing to guarantee the Packers win this game. I'm willing to guarantee that the Packers look a lot better than they did against the Browns. I think it is incredible. It would be incredibly foolish for the Packers or for Jordan Love to have any part of the game plan be focused on him having a huge game. I think that the Packers, we have to look at the Packers right now as a team that when they are playing a team like Dallas, the only way they lose is if Jordan Love makes mistakes. And I think that Jordan Love right now, the goal needs to be as steady as can be. And if we end up in a game where a shootout is needed, I have that gear. But I'm not trying to put up crazy numbers. I'm not trying to, break that 300-yard streak because I don't think that is what best serves this team. I am so wildly impressed by this Packers defense through 3 weeks. I thought it was good going into the year, and then when they added Mike, I thought it could be great. And through 3 weeks, I do think it's great. I am retroactively more impressed by what they did week 1 against Detroit since we have seen Detroit in the 2 games they've played since then. I thought the Packers defense was unbelievable in week 2 against Jaden. I thought they were unbelievable or really, really, really good in week 3 against the Browns, as good as you can be against a less than mediocre Browns offense. I think the only thing that's going to trip up the Packers this year is if they try to make Jordan Love a star, is if they try to build explosive downfield passing when they don't need it. So no, I'm not willing to guarantee it. because I don't think that's necessary. And I don't think it's what's best for the Packers, given the overall strength of their roster.
Greg, can I read you something? Nope. The answer is no. The answer is no.
Wow.
Russell Wilson was asked about potentially asking for a trade or release after being benched. Here's what he said.
I think for me personally, as well as I'm not done. I got so much belief in myself and know what I'm capable of. I believe I was able to show it, especially, on the road in Dallas.
Which team should call the Giants? He had him. If you listen to his full quote, he's actually I don't think we necessarily
Did him justice.
did right by the. Yeah, he was like, I'm focused on the Giants, on how this team can get better. I think for the sake of brevity, we made a short quote, but he was actually a great team
So he's
player.
going to help Dart.
Yeah, it was the perfect quote from him that I want to put that on the record. So, which team should call the Giants? Nobody?
Yeah, no, nobody. Look, and I know you guys are going to have your team. No, it may. Look, when we look at what he was able to do against the Dallas Cowboys, because of how bad we believe that defense to be, we don't hold that next to anything. Like, because Caleb needed a game like that, and he's much younger, and he's a quarterback that needs to start to show that he can do that against a good defense or a bad defense, cool. Russell Wilson, to have that performance and then to follow it up with a performance against the Chiefs in the manner of which he did in that goal-to-goal situation, and just his inability to create any possible opportunity for his guys, who wants that? Who wants that? If I'm a receiver, we saw Malik Neighbors and his frustration, whether that was with Dable, whether that's because he's frustrated with the quarterback. No, if I am a team and I'm looking for a quarterback to back my quarterback up, cool. I'll take a veteran guy to come in here and show him the ropes and kind of help guide, but you're doing that right now with Jackson Dart. If I'm a team that is potentially going to play for something, because he's not going to go somewhere where they're not playing for anything, I'm not looking at Russell Wilson as the answer, because I don't believe that he has enough left to be the difference maker.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, I get so frustrated, and you guys know I like Russ, but it's so predictable. It was the same thing in Pittsburgh, and it's the same thing with the Giants these few games. He can only throw the moon ball, and he's really just hurling that thing up there, or it's just dink and dunk. There's no real intermediate stuff, and so I hear you, but if I'm the only team I can think of, and I look through all the teams, is Cincinnati. I thought Jake Browning was going to be better than this. What happened last week was just ridiculous. He was actually pretty good last year or 2 years ago. If he, maybe this 1 week, if he's horrible again,
I like that idea.
why? I mean, you got two great receivers. If all Russ can do is throw the long ball still, or those are guys that can run after the catch as well, like Chase. So, I mean, I might look at it just to see if we can get in the playoffs and make something happen.
The Bengals are the team that makes sense, right? Because they're the team that is trying to win that has a quarterback get injured. Sadly, there's likely will be another team that fits that bill here in the next 6 weeks, right? There will probably be another team that wants to be a contender whose quarterback suffers a significant injury. It'd be unlikely that Burrow's the only quarterback that suffers a major injury. Whomever that team is, they still should not call the Giants.
You think that he's?
I think Russell will. I think that the Seattle Seahawks had a great run with Russell Wilson. It then soured at the end. They moved on. The Denver Broncos trade for him. Year one with Nat Hackett, everyone blames Nat. Nat gets fired. Sean Payton saw 11 games of Russell Wilson and said, I will pay you to go away. Mike Tomlin brings in Russell Wilson. He can't start at the beginning of the year because of the injuries. Mike Tomlin sees 8 games of Russell Wilson, says, I'd rather bring back Justin Fields, and I don't want to bring you back, and I'll bring in Aaron Rodgers. Brian Dable signs Russell Wilson, sees 3 games of Russell Wilson, one of which was phenomenal, and is like, I'm done with you too. at some point, I think we have to come to the realization he is not better than your backup. He's not a starting quarterback in this league. So my answer is absolutely unequivocally none. And if I were a team that was desperate, like, oh man, I have to get an upgrade at quarterback midway through the season, and I called the Giants, I would ask about Jameis.
No question.
Before I asked about Russ, flatly. And so I'm not trying to be, listen, he was a great player.
Yes.
And I know that I didn't like kind of his general disposition, so to speak, at times at the end. But I'm not trying to downplay the fact that of his era, he was, a top 8 quarterback, maybe a top 6 quarterback. I don't know it depends on what you define his era as. But it's over. And so no, I would not call him no matter who it was.
Tough one. Yikes. Why not?
Heartless.
Bengals in Denver. Browning versus Bo Nix. If Brew had his way, it'd be Russell Wilson. Revenge game. Bo Nix headlines NFL.com's Kevin Patras. 9 players he believes in despite slow starts.
Yeah.
Now Bo has 5 touchdowns but 4 turnovers. Wasn't great against the Titans to start. Indy had 3.
Was really good until he threw a backbreaking pick at the end.
Yep. And then the Chargers have a good defense, so you throw that one in the garbage. Nick, are you buying that Bo can turn this season around?
No, listen, I think Kevin Patra and others have a little, preconceived notion bias because a lot of people, I'm not saying Kevin necessarily, but a lot of people swore this Broncos team was legit contender. Bo Nix, was poised for a breakout. Sean Payton told us all of it. And the reality is that up to this point in his career, one thing is consistent about Bo Nix. If he is playing a good team, his team is cooked. And Bo Nix versus teams with a winning record. They are 1-10. He has an 86 rating. He has 14 touchdowns, 8 picks. He's 200 yards per game.
Does this count the Colts? You threw the Colt the
well, so
1-0
it's
Colts?
no. So the way it's just for whatever it is. For last year, it's teams that finished the season with a winning record.
Gotcha.
And for this year, it's teams that currently, like the Chargers and Colts are 3-0. They count as winning teams. The Titans are 0-3.
Gotcha.
It's not your record at the time of playing them.
Okay.
It's at the end of the season or as far into the season. And it's not including the Week 18 game against Kansas City because that Chiefs team was not a winning team. It was the backups. I will never understand the smoke that was on this Broncos offense going into the year when we saw no evidence last year against good teams that they were good. And so I think it is, again, turn it around. Like, am I saying the Broncos are going to be looking for a quarterback this offseason? I'm not saying, that's not what I mean. But do I think all of a sudden Bo Nix is going to rally and be a difference maker at that position in the AFC playoff race? Unequivocally, no. And I'm puzzled how many people thought going into the year he would be.
I was one of those that thought at the beginning of the year that he would be, and I still think he can turn it around. He's playing some poor football right now. Let's just face it. It is what it is. And I don't think, again, I loved what Sean Payton was saying about him. It's leading.
You did or didn't like
I did.
Okay.
I did because you were kind of stroking the ego, kind of pumping your team up and your quarterback. It may have been too much. And I think when you are in that type of a situation,